If you want to build credit, make sure to watch this entire video. I am covering a primary trade line that is going to help you build credit not only on the personal side, but also on the business side. So I have two parts to this video. The first one you're watching right now, and that is going to be covering the personal credit trade line. In the second video, we're going to be covering the business credit trade line for those of you that want to establish some more solid comparable business credit trade lines. This is one of my only recommended credit builder trade lines to actually build credit with. And there's a few reasons behind that. Number one, they've been doing this a long time and I know that they're not going to go away. Number two is they report to all three credit bureaus, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. And the last, but definitely not the least important, is they are a high limit trade line. They have different options for those of you, but for those that are looking to get high limit comparable credit, this is where you want to start at because they can offer you higher limit credit trade lines, the highest limit credit trade lines than anyone else out there, and it's not secured. So of course, I love other credit building options like the pledge loans, but of course in those you're using your own money. So who's really got 30,000, 10,000 sitting around that they can throw against a pledge loan? With Credit Strong, you have the ability to choose your own plan. And mind you, if it's not going to work in your budget to get the highest limit trade line, then don't get it. Now, Credit Strong is like a savings account. So you might be thinking, I'm not paying that much money for a trade line every month. You have to understand the concept. If you want to really play this game of credit, you are going to have to pay, my friends, whether that's with time, whether that's with money, or even a little bit of both. But you have to play to learn this game of credit and have to understand that comparable credit trade lines are very important, and also progression is very important. And if you don't understand what those two things are, you need to go ahead and join the credit community, guys, because not only does the credit community give you trade line discounts on other trade lines, but we have a wealth of information that are going to cover all of these topics, primarily the topics of trade lines. And this is got several videos underneath each topic that covers inside out of credit, personal credit, business credit, trade lines, even more, affiliate marketing, how to leverage your credit to make money, different income streams that you can create, so much information. You want to visit my website here. I've got a ton of ways that you can connect with me, join the community, get some of the other products that I offer as far as, my free credit kit, my free credit union guide. If you want to book a call with me, $30,000 primary trade line, which is what we're covering right now. So let's get into it. Now, Credit Strong has a few different options, okay? They've really evolved over the last few years. They're not new to the scene. They've been around for a while, but a lot of people just don't understand how to properly leverage them. Now, I'm going to tell you this. If you are not going to be able to commit to this like a full-time job, do not sign up for it right now. Keep it in your back pocket because what we don't want is a late payment being reported while you're trying to build credit with this primary trade line. And I have seen it happen many, many times, and they are very hard, if not impossible, to actually fix the trade line and keep the trade line on your credit. And that's super counterproductive because one thing that's most important that nobody has control over but you, my friend, is paying your bills on time. You have to commit to whatever is on your credit report. It must be paid on time. Forget adding all of those subscriptions and utility bills, Experian Boost. No, those are not going to have you bank approved, okay? Those might fill up your credit with a bunch of garbage. They might give you a few points, but it's not real. And no bank out there is approving you based on your credit score. If you haven't noticed by now, there are no credit score requirements because it's all about the data that's on your credit profile. And if you understand the data breakdown, which is paying bills on time, keeping your credit revolving credit lines, the usage of those credit lines, aka credit cards and lines of credit, keeping that below 10%. I know you're going to read online and say, well, it says 30% online. F around and find out what happens when you allow your credit usage to get up to 30%. I let mine get to 27 and drop my score 70 points. F around and find out. I can't cuss because YouTube doesn't like it, but I'm telling you right now, don't believe the hype online. You cannot believe what you read online. You cannot always believe what the bankers tell you. You cannot always believe what lenders tell you, because they don't always fully understand the concept that we're trying to achieve. And if that person doesn't understand and they're not trying to work with you, it's not the best fit for what you're trying to do. I had somebody that I spoke to recently, and they were advised to lower their credit limits. That's not a good thing. And then you're wondering why you're approved for all these low limit credit limits. It's your comparable credit. So anyways, that's enough of me venting. But Credit Strong has different options here. So if you go to their products, you'll notice that they have revolving accounts, installment accounts. They've got the business, they've got the Magnum, they've got the free kick bank. Okay, what we're going to be going over right now is the revolving accounts. This is fairly new to Credit Strong. There's two separate types of trade lines out there. There's revolving accounts, which is what this is, which is your credit cards and lines of credit. And then there's also your installment loans. And those are just going to be the same payment every single month until that account is paid in full or zero balance for whatever reason, right? So in this case, these are going to be revolving. And this is where you really have to pay attention to the credit utilization. Your installment loans, like your student loans, auto loans, mortgage loans, those are not calculated into your credit usage, which is 30% of your credit score. So we've got on-time payments, that's 35%. We've got your credit utilization. How much of your credit lines are you actually leveraging, are you using, right? That's your credit utilization, your credit usage. That number needs to be below 10%. And in fact, if you're going after funding, as close to under 5 as possible, with most of your credit cards at a zero balance if possible. You do not want to have a balance on all of your cards. That is too risky for lenders, especially when you are going and applying for new credit or a funding sequence. Peep that. Remember that, okay? And if you haven't by now, make sure that you have followed me on YouTube. Join the credit community. We are having a special right now. Get in while the prices are still low, because they are going to be going up, and you have access to everything in the community, unlike some other communities where they are a much lower price or even free, but you have access to nothing. All right, so you have access to everything. You can also create your own digital products inside the community. All right, so this is a membership. It's starting at $100 a year. Okay, they have different plans. So you're looking at the two basic plans, Revolve Basic, which is $99 a year, and you're going to get a credit trade line of $1,000, and it can go up to $2,500, and you're going to get credit bumps and credit limit increases of $150. That's where the progression comes into place. Okay, now this is okay, but if you are looking to get higher amounts of credit approved, then you want to go for a higher amount, because this is great for just someone very, new to credit, just to establish some sort of credit trade lines. But to be honest, if you go and try to get approved for something, you're probably not going to get approved for more than this limit. Okay. And that's what comparable credit is, right? That's why it's so important to be able to piggyback off other people's good credit with the authorized users, and then understanding how to add higher limit comparable credit trade lines to your credit profile that are primary, meaning they belong to you. You're responsible for paying the payment every month. Okay. Now the Revolve Plus, this is more of, what I would start with. It's $199 a year. You're going to get a credit limit of $2,500, and it goes up to $5,000. You'll get the bumps, the credit limit increases of $250. So that's more, I guess you could say, going to get you kick-started better. All right. Now, there's also the Revolving Pro. Now, for those of you that are serious, you really want to get higher limits, this is the plan that you want to go with. Now, like I said before, you have to pay to play in this credit world, okay? It's not going to come as fast and easy as we would all like it to, okay? Especially when you don't have any other comparable credit. You have a pretty thin credit profile. You have a hard time getting approved for things, because no credit is just as good as bad credit. And that's why there are no credit score requirements, right, from the banks. They want to look at the data and see what other type of credit accounts you have been able to manage. And most importantly, pay on time in the past, because this is our adult report card. So it's extremely important that when you guys do set up these credit accounts, set up that auto pay, make sure beyond fail, it is paid on time. Okay? Paid on time. You have to get into that rhythm of paying on time, especially if you plan to get into the business credit world, because it is very different now. Banks are tightening up. They are stingy as all hell, but if you build it, they will come. Okay, those approvals will come. So let's talk about this one. $249 a year. Not bad. Okay, that's not bad, because if you get an authorized user trade line, you're paying a few $100s anyways, right? And if you do need authorized user trade lines, they are available. I have them. I have, guaranteed 3-month terms. Nobody out there can beat that. And you get $100 discount on all trade lines inside of the credit community. So it's well worth it. The credit limit is going to be $5,000 of a revolving credit limit, which I love that, right? And then the max is $10,000, and you get credit limit increases of $500. And this again is for the year, because you can expect for you to take about a year to properly build up your credit and properly decorate your credit report with all of these different types of trade lines. Now you can get credit accounts here and there, credit cards, and I actually work with people one-on-one in some of my VIP planning coaching plans, and we work on a specific plan for each individual and execute that plan and build up the profile, so that way you become funding ready and you won't have a problem getting approved for funding in the future, as long as you pay everything on time and don't allow your credit cards to go over like 20%, right? That's even a little high. I know online it says 30, but no, that's way too high, especially if you're going after funding. Have I seen people approved with a 30% credit usage? Yes, I have. But do I like it? No, I don't, because there is a time and a place to apply for things. We want to make sure that our profile is fully optimized. Now, when you sign up for these revolving accounts, you don't want to cancel them after a few months, okay? You're not paying anything a month with these revolving accounts. It's just that one time, $249 a year plan, right? So this does not require or, have a hard credit pull. Okay, so there's no inquiry that's going to be on your credit profile. Just like the pledge loans or the secured loans that you can do with some of these credit unions, they will report to all three as well. They don't require a hard credit pull. With those, you have to use your own money, right? So it's going to be a lot harder for you to do a $5,000, secured credit card. Who wants to do that? Nobody, right? That's not a good move unless you have a wealth of money just lying around, because it's just not. You don't want to close these revolving accounts once you get them open. You want to keep them open for as long as possible, versus like the installment side. Those can close pretty quickly, no problem, right? Of course, that's kind of defeating the purpose of us building, on-time payment history, but, those close. So it's not going to cause a lot of damage, but with the revolving, you're going to continue to earn history on those. Even if you have a zero balance, it's still going to report, okay, they're in good standing to the credit bureaus, and that's what you need. All right. So I would go after this one. That's my, recommendation. But, for those of you that don't have any credit cards, this is a great option because of the fact that you don't have to use your own money like you would with a secured credit card. All right. Now there's also the installment side. So that's the revolving side, which is very cool, right? Then we move up to the installment and the CX Max. These are going to be like an installment loan. You do not have to keep them open for a long period of time, right? And they start at just $28 a month. These are the different plans that they offer. They offer trade lines up to $30,000, and we'll get to those higher limit ones in just a bit, because those are going to be the real hitters right there. So these ones, smaller amounts, right? You can do a $28 $1,000 payment, 48 months, and the installment loan that's reported is $1,010. That's not going to get you much, right? You can't do much with these lower limit installment credit, things reported, right? So I'm just not a huge fan of them, right? You've got $49. That's going to get you a $2,500 credit trade line reported. Now, here's the thing. You're paying money into these monthly. Where does that money go? Well, it's like a savings account. So you're not just giving it to them to report a trade line. Yes, there are fees involved, right? You have to pay a one-time $25 admin fee to set up your account, right? And you have to pay a small interest fee, and you can kind of go over that a little bit later. But although like this one is kind of broken down right here, right? So if you plan to get, the 60-month, say for $199, which is what I would do. This is a $10,000 amount, and it's $199 a month, and it's a credit builder loan that is a savings account, but they take a little bit of interest. So if you do 12 months, which is what I always recommend, now you can cancel before 12 months. There is no contract here. And the great thing about it is, say you're like, well, things came together a lot quicker. I had it for 6 or 8 months. I don't want to have this as a balance while I'm applying for funding. Perfect. No problem. We can cancel it. And once you cancel it, it will have a zero balance. It's that easy. All right. But you don't want to cancel it after month 3 or 4 because you want to establish the fact that, hey, bank, I have paid, this $199 payment for 8 months on time. So it shows banks that you have the ability to pay on something long term on time. I would prefer someone to have this for, 1 to 2 years, just to, again, show the bank, make them feel confident that you can pay on time. That's what they want to see, is your ability to pay on time over time. All right. But this is what those numbers would look like. The interest, not that much, right? So you would still have a pretty good savings balance here. All right. And then once you cancel it, they would send you your money back. So you're going to get your savings back. And this is what your savings would look like. So you're going to pay like $150 or actually $50 in interest, and you'll have the principal savings amount $148.39, and then your overall savings would be $1,723.29. Not bad. And you can even do 2 payments a month, and this is kind of a good way to save up some money as well. So say you're like, hey, yeah, I'm saving for a house. This is great because you can build up some credit, build up some savings, and then close it before you apply. Wait for it to update so it reflects a zero balance on your credit report, and then you'll have a bit of a nest egg that you've built over time, right? So this is what all those look like. Not bad on the fees, to be honest with you. And then they have that one-time $25 admin fee. Like I said, you got to pay to play. All right. It's well worth the investment. And if you can't see the value in that investment, we need to talk so you can understand that credit is not to be played with. You really have to learn the ins and outs of it and understand that you have to heavily invest into your credit. If you want big boy limits, if you want big boy toys, if you want that Mercedes-Benz, if you want that fancy car, you really have to invest and decorate your credit to get it. All right. It doesn't come just falling in your lap like, oh yeah, I got approved for it. That's not happening these days. Okay. So let's do things the right way. Let's learn how to properly build our credit, decorate our credit, leverage our credit, and most importantly, manage our credit. Okay. Now let's go over my favorite products, which are going to be the Magnum products, because of the fact that they are the highest limits. Okay. This is where you want to go if you are focused on high limit credit trade lines. And this is where I tell my clients to go, because this is going to give you the most impact for your credit. And this is just kind of an idea of what they can do for your credit. I mean, it's really a game changer if you ask me. So make sure again, you're subscribed to the channel. Leave me a comment below. Let me know if you found value in the video. Let me know if you've signed up for Credit Strong. You can sign up for multiple accounts with Credit Strong. So you don't have to be like, hey, can I just get one? You can actually get one like higher limit Magnum, and then you can also do like a revolving. So that way you have an installment and a revolving account, and it's not going to cost you a hard inquiry, but yet it reports on your credit as a primary trade line to all 3 credit bureaus. I mean, come on, it doesn't get much better than this. All right. So here are the Magnum plans. $30,000 trade line, dude. Oh my God. Who else out there is giving you a $30,000 primary trade line that is not using your own funds, right? So you have to understand, you got to pay a little bit. And even when you use a secured loan, like if you had $30,000 that you did a secured loan with, you're still going to have to pay a little bit of interest on that to the bank, right? Because you got to pay to play. This is not just like, hey, we're giving out credit to anybody can do this. No, this is developed for serious individuals that are truly like in the position to get funding and make sure that they're leveraging their credit to build wealth. So that's what we're all about. And this channel, that's what I talk about. And that's what I want you guys to start getting obsessed with, start learning it, and, master it in your own way, right? So here it is, $350. All right. Now I know you might be saying, Nicole, that's a lot of money to invest in a $30,000 trade line. Again, my friends, you have to pay to play. This is a savings. You'll get it back. No worries. All right. But we want to show the banks, like if you're going to a bank and asking them for a $40,000 or $50,000 auto loan and you don't have any other credit trade lines on your credit profile, do you honestly think they're going to feel comfortable giving that to you? Probably not. Right. But if you get this first and build up on this and pay that $350 a month over 12 months, you're going to show the bank that you can properly manage a $30,000 loan. So yeah, they're going to feel more confident giving you a higher auto loan because they're like, yeah, they've managed this, right? Now, banks nowadays, they want to see 12 to 24 months of payment history. So that's why I recommend that you get this well in advance and keep it for at least a minimum of 1 year. And hopefully you can keep it for 2 years. Some people need to keep it for 2 years. Like if your goal is to get an $80,000 car or like, your house, hopefully you get that house before, because you wouldn't want to get an $80,000 car before you get a house. You want to, get that car in your business name so it's not reported on your personal credit. But you still need comparables if you're going to provide a personal guarantee, like with Bank of America. It's a great way to get a car not listed on your personal credit report, right? But it's a personal guarantee. Can you get business autos without a personal guarantee? Sure, if your business can stand on its own 2 feet, but it's always going to be a lower interest rate, a better deal if you can personally guarantee, because it's, again, the banks feel more confident. It's a lower risk for them. And by having these type of trade lines, it shows them that you can make these higher payments and commitments every month on time as agreed. Now, if $350 is just not doable. Now, if it's not doable, you shouldn't be focused on getting high limit credit trade lines, because you're going to have to pay this if you get a $30,000 loan. If you get a $50,000 personal loan, the payments on that are going to be close to $1,000 a month. All right. If you get a $50,000 car, $60,000 car, the payments are going to be closer to $1,000 a month. So you need to prepare yourself to be able to financially take that on, right? So this is a great test to do that beforehand, because if you sign a contract for an auto for, an $800 payment for the next 7 years, you're going to be committed to that. And we don't want to have any late payments. That's going to set you back tremendously. So if you're like, hey, I'm having a hard time paying this $350 a month, then no way are you ready for some of those other big boys. And there's a time and a place for it. A lot of people, they over leverage themselves, and then they mess around and find out that they can't pay, and they get late payments and start drowning. All right. right? We don't want that to happen. We want to go slow at your own pace and really make sure that you are ready for this commitment and you think about it, right? And if you want to book a call with me and go over, hey, should I do this? Do you think this is a good idea for me based on what my goals are? Book a call and I'll give you my honest feedback on what I would do if I were in your shoes and maybe some of the experiences that I've had with some of my clients, because that is ultimately going to be helping you the most. It's an unbiased, I could say, coaching and recommendation, information, however you want to say it, right? I'm not a lawyer. I don't give legal advice. I'm not, a CPA or a tax person, so I can't give tax advice or anything of that nature, but I'm giving you real educational value that is from real life scenarios, not just my life, but a lot of my clients' lives. I've helped thousands of people out there build credit, get credit, fix their credit, and we want to focus on long-term success. All right. Me and my team are focused on results and on long-term success. So if you don't want to get the 30,000, there's the 15,000, another good option, $175 commitment per month that you have to pay. Plus you have to pay that $25 non-refundable and admin fee to get your account set up, but they're not unreasonable rates, right? And if you want the complete breakdown of the interest rates, you can go to their website and kind of get an idea of it right here. So for example, if you're going to be paying, for the $30,000 trade line, it's a 7.13% APR. You've got the $25 admin fee. You've got the minimum required monthly payment of $350, but again, you can double that payment up. Like if you're like, well, I'm planning to get, $60,000-$70,000 auto loan, and I know that payment is probably going to be $800-$900. You can pay $700 a month, so you can know what that's going to feel like, and you'll have enough built up in case you need to put a down payment or, whatever the case may be. Now, if you go to your credit union, most of the time you're not going to need a down payment. Sometimes with Bank of America and some of these banks, they don't cover 100% the loan. So you'll have a small, 2-4% out of pocket that you have to pay. But again, this is a savings, so you'll be able to get all of that money back to you at the end, right? But this is just another great way, kind of like a hack that you can use to build up some solid, credit trade lines that you are responsible for, that are in your name, that is comparable credit, right? You've got the $10,000 one, you've got the $5,000, but man, if you're gonna do this, I would not go less than $10,000, and that's a $125 commitment. It's also a great way to help you save on some money, okay? And build up that savings account. And then they've got the free kickbank, which, you can check this out. It might be of interest to you, not really necessarily credit related. So those are the 3 credit products that Credit Strong offers: the revolving one, the, mid installment ones, and then they've got the Magnum Max plans, which are the high limit ones. Like I said, go big or go home, okay? Don't go and get $1,000 trade line and expect to go get this $30,000 auto loan from your credit union. They might give you a lower amount, but if you really want to build this up the right way, get those higher limits, because it's going to help you in the future. And these are going to remain on your credit profile for 7 years from the date that you last paid it. And again, if you decide that you want to close it early, that's not a problem. You can close it at any time. You're not under contract. And when you do close it, it's going to update to a 0 balance, but you have to close it the right way. Okay. You have to contact the company. You can use the app. You can try to email them and say, hey, I request to cancel my account. And once the account is fully canceled, then you can stop the auto pay. I mean, the auto pay will obviously stop, but don't cancel the auto pay. Don't do anything funny because you're mad or upset or whatever. Make sure that it is fully processed. All the payments have gone through, because you don't want that to negatively affect your credit. And again, make sure those auto payments are set up. Don't just say, oh, well, I'll just go in and pay. No, set up auto pay. Make sure the auto pay has properly gone through, okay? You don't want to mess around and get a late payment on an account that you're using to help build up credit. It's super counterproductive, but yet I see it. So, if it's not the right time for you, it's not the right time, but maybe it will be in the future, because I feel like these are one of those things that you really have to commit to and invest in and have a little bit of extra. And, it's kind of nice to build up that nest egg too. But I hope you enjoyed. I hope you got some value from this. This is certainly one of the credit builders that I used when I was building credit, and it significantly helped. Okay. So my name is Credit Coach Nicole Scott. Thank you so much for watching. Part 2 of this video is going to be about the business side. So if you are looking to build business credit, or if you own a business and currently have business credit and want to add, make sure to watch that. I'll see you next time.